I'm recording y'all. My grandson wanted to know how do you post videos. That's my granddaughter Nija. Hi Nija. And that's my grandson Delajay, looking like young Malcolm. Young Malcolm.
How y'all doing, fans?
Oh, look at them. So I'm your grandma.
Treat my grandma with respect.
Yeah, that's right. Y'all love your grandma?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we have fun together when we see each other, don't we?
And she said she's gonna do a cartwheel. She didn't do it at the park because there was too much dog.
It was too much, and dog boo-boo. So I'm gonna work this cartwheel out at their house. But I'm gonna go up there and do some homework first. And then later I'm gonna play a game with them. I think it's Life or something.
Just wipe out.
Yeah, Wipeout, that's what it is, Wipeout.
Actually, it's my other games.
Okay, and then I'm gonna look at some other games. I was trying to think of a story I could tell my grandkids when I'm being this age. Let's see, what can I tell them about this age? Oh, okay, I can remember one. All right, like a long time ago when I was about 7 years old, and I lived on a farm, and we had an apple tree in the back, a green apple tree. So I told my mom, I said, Mom, I'm gonna go back here and get some apples off the green apple tree. And she said, no, you don't take your fast tail back there, because I was fast. I didn't follow directions very well. Are y'all listening?
Uh-huh.
And so I didn't follow directions very well. So she said, no, don't take your fast tail back there and go get any apples off that tree because they're green. These green apples will make your stomach hurt if you go back and eat those. They're not ready. So I was one of those kids, I didn't listen. I'm like, I don't care. I'm going back there to get me some of them apples. I'm going to eat them apples. So I waited till my mama and my grandmama were watching TV. So I kept waiting and waiting and waiting. They used to watch this thing called soap operas. Do y'all know what a soap opera is?
No.
Yeah, okay. So, alright, so they were watching soap operas. It was a TV show. And they were watching soap operas, and I looked in the window on the porch to make sure they were watching the soap operas, caught up in those. So I said, okay, I'm going to leave my shoes in the house and make them think that I'm going to go to bed. So what I did was I put my shoes in the house and then I climbed out the window. I climbed out the window and I went around to the front yard so they didn't see me. Now, where we lived in the country, people used to break into our house all the time and steal from us because we lived up in the woods. And so my mom had made a booby trap. What she did was she took a whole bunch of soda bottles and she crushed them real fine. Just crushed them and had some big chunks and some little tiny chunks. And she crushed some glass bottles, soda bottles, glass bottles. She crushed them with a hammer. And then she put them on the side of the house in the driveway and in the grass. So if anybody tried to go and sneak in the back of our house,
they wouldn't be able to see the glass.
That's right, they wouldn't be able to see the glass. And they would get it in their shoes or they would bust their car tires when they would try to roll back there and so they could put our stuff in their car. Okay? Alright, so she put a whole bunch of glass on the side of the driveway, and we knew, my granddaddy knew not to drive over on the side of the house, so he parked in front of the house in that part of the driveway. So I called myself leaving my shoes in the house. Remember I told you I climbed out the window, but the only way for me to get to that apple tree where the window wasn't was to go on the side of the house in that part of the driveway and in the grass. Yes. So, with the glass, right? Alright, so y'all understand that part so far?
Yes.
Alright, so I'm tippy-toeing through the grass, and then I'm on the sidewalk, I'm not the sidewalk, the gravel lot, and then I'm back on the grass, and I'm trying to step over this glass, and I in my bare feet, because I was going to get them apples. I didn't care what she said. I'm going to get me some of them apples. They were going to be so delicious in my mouth and so good, and I was willing to take a chance. So I was walking, and then all of a sudden I felt something real cold on the side of my toe. It was because I can feel it. It's the toe beside my baby toe, because I can still feel where that cut is. I stepped on a big piece of glass that sliced the side of my toe down to the bone. To the bone. And blood was coming everywhere. So I was bleeding and leaving a trail of blood, and I was screaming, and my mom ran out the house and she looked at my foot and saw this blood trail. She picked me up, she threw me in the car, and she was yelling at me. She threw him in the car, had me all jacked up in the car, and I was crying. She was driving fast, and I was putting blood all in her car, on her seats and on the floor. She get me to the hospital, and she was like, and I'm going to beat your butt when we get home. But I'm thinking, my toe cut off. How you going to beat my butt when I get home, too? My toe cut off. So I was sitting inside the emergency room, and they put a big old towel around my foot, and the towel was getting bloody. And she was like, what you doing back there, you fast tail? You don't never listen. And I'm like, I'm going to listen next time. I promise, Mama, don't whoop me. I'm going to listen next time. She said, you think she was going to whoop me?
No, I don't think so with that bloody toe.
So the doctor came and they got us, and they were looking at my toe, and they were going to put stitches in it. And I was so scared, they showed me the needle, and I just freaked out real bad. And so she was like, sit down, let him sew your toe up. So I'm like, please, please, don't put that needle in my toe. Don't put that needle in my toe, please.
Did it hurt?
Well, they decided not to put the needle in my toe. What they did was they put it in a tub of like a tub of water with some antibiotics in it or something, some antiseptic or something. It burned like you would not believe, like touching a hot stove. It was terrible, and I screamed so hard. Sorry, everybody, that's the fire truck. So I was screaming so bad that my mama said, I'll be back, I'll be back. So she went to the candy machine, and she bought me a candy bar. Like that was going to make me be quiet, because she was standing out in front of me behind the doctor, and she was showing me the candy bar. But it was called the Zero candy bar. You know what the Zero candy bar is? It's a white candy bar. It's like white chocolate. I didn't know chocolate could be white. I thought all chocolate was brown. So she was standing behind the doctor showing me the candy bar, and I was sucking it up to my because I wanted the candy bar. And so after they soaked it up, they wrapped it up with bandages real good, and then they let me go home, and I had some crutches. And
I bet it really hurt.
oh gosh, it really, 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 really hurt. Because they had to clean the glass out and stuff. And when we got in the car, she gave me the Zero candy bar, which was an all-white candy bar.
So
It sliced it, so it didn't go in there, but they had to clean it to make sure there wasn't little chips of glass in my cut. And so, and I still got that scar, that little scar on the side of my toe beside my baby toe. And it's very sensitive. When you touch it, it's very sensitive.
I want to see it. Imagine if that was me.
I know, right? I know. Your mom will beat you down.
I would be I'd be hoping she wouldn't, because I don't want to whip him, and my toe got hurt.
I know, right? It's like I can't handle all of that. It's too much pressure.
Did you eat the candy bar when you first got in the car?
I did eat the candy bar. She wouldn't let me eat the whole thing. She would only let me eat half. And that's why when I gave your mom and your aunt Shin Shin and your aunt Kiki candy bars, I only gave them half, because that was too much candy, you know, for a child to have at the time.
Candy bar.
Well, if I give you a candy bar, you're only getting half.
Okay.
Y'all don't even care.
As long as we Dollar Tree.
Okay, I'm gonna get the earbuds later. I'm gonna get the earbuds later.
No, but it's close. Yeah, it's closer up there.
Oh, okay. All right. So we're gonna say goodbye to YouTube. Goodbye, YouTube.
Bye.